At 16, I dropped out of school and was picking corn in the fields. A city-bred young master driving a luxury car with a cigarette dangling from his lips was arguing with his girlfriend. "Are we really breaking up?" The girl sneered. "That's right. If it weren't for wanting to get close to your brother, I'd never have been with a spoiled rich kid like you. Go ask around who would ever love someone like you." Furious, the man stomped his feet, then waved me over in a fit of pique. "Hey, I'll fund your education, provide you with food and clothes, and give you more money than you could ever spend in this lifetime. In return, you'll love me. How about it?" I didn't hesitate. Deal. Later, he said to me again, "Go pursue my brother only when he's in a relationship. Will Clara give up?" I didn't immediately agree to Vincent's request. Compared to 7 years ago, I've changed a lot. Vincent raised me exceptionally well. He paid for my education, hired private tutors, enrolled me in various extracurricular classes, indulging every subject I wished to study. Last year, after graduation, he splurged again, buying me both a car and an apartment. When I was learning to drive during that sweltering summer, he patiently accompanied me every single day without ever complaining about the exhaustion. By now, no one would call me a country bumpkin anymore. They say I am the girl cherished in the palm of young Master Vincent's hand, his child bride. After all, he has spared no effort in elevating me. He spent 7 years nurturing a flower, and now this blossom has bloomed into its most exquisite form. How could he possibly let it slip into another's hands? Yet no one could have anticipated Clara's return. She had just broken up with Vincent when she went abroad, cutting off contact with everyone. Last month, after completing her studies, the first thing she did upon returning was confess her feelings to Adrian. But she was rejected. Hardly anyone knew Clara had feelings for Adrian. After her failed confession, with probably no one else to confide in, she tearfully called Vincent. "Vincent, I'm back." Just those words, and he was completely thrown off balance. Later, she grieved for Adrian several more times. Each time it was Vincent who comforted her. He felt both heartache for her and a touch of anger. Why, he had practically bared his heart to her, yet in her mind there was only his cold and reticent older brother. But I never expected he would come up with such a terrible idea. In my opinion, someone like Adrian would never truly like any girl. But Vincent came to beg me every day. He showered me with flowers and designer handbags, spending money on me like water. My colleagues saw it and thought he was pursuing me. "I always thought there was something special between you two. He treats you so well and seems loaded too. Just say yes already. Don't forget to treat us to dinner when you're official." I smiled faintly, but remained silent. Yes, he has been so good to me. I could never repay his kindness in this lifetime. Just then Vincent's call came through. His voice carried a hint of nonchalance. "Did you get the flowers? Do you like them?" I hummed in response. He sighed. "Forget it. I thought about it. And if you really don't want it, then I cut him off. "I'll do it." Vincent's voice abruptly halted. "What?" "I'll do what you asked me to do." He remained silent for a moment before suddenly laughing. "All right, then go ahead. If you can't win him over, it's fine. I'll still take care of you for life." As he spoke, he added 2 more sentences, as if explaining himself. "Over all these years, they must have introduced at least 80, if not 100 girls to my brother, yet he never showed interest in any of them. You're the only one he has ever treated with some kindness. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to do this." After hearing this, I gazed at the moonlight on the horizon for a long while before nodding all right. Then I heard the sound of a lighter flicking. He was smoking again. He called my name, his voice slightly slurred. "By the way, I never asked you before. Elizabeth, do you have someone you like?" I paused for a moment. "Does that matter?" If you have someone you like, then I want to ask you to do this. After all, I can't delay your lifelong happiness." I glanced at the rose blooming vibrantly on my desk. I heard he used to love sending flowers to Clara, all airlifted from distant places, each stem worth half a month's wages for an ordinary person. I pressed my lips together. No. In truth, I had lied to Vincent. I liked him from the first moment I saw him. But all these years, Clara was the only one in his heart. 2 days later, Vincent personally organized a welcome banquet for Clara. He also sent me an invitation. I heard it was Clara who learned of my existence and insisted on seeing me. She said, "That girl from the cornfield 7 years ago, you really brought her back, Vincent. She was so dark, skinny, and small, not pretty at all. I thought you were just joking. I'm genuinely curious about what she looks like now." I happened to have something to do and declined right away. Vincent sent me several messages. The last one said, "My brother is here too. You haven't forgotten what you promised me, have you?" I stared at the screen, feeling a tightness in my chest, as if something was lodged there. I felt terribly uncomfortable, but he had already made his stance clear. I had no choice but to go, otherwise wouldn't I be too ungrateful. When I arrived, they were playing cards in a group. Someone noticed me, their expression turning subtle, and they didn't greet me as they used to. Before, they all flattered me and called me Miss Elizabeth out of respect for Vincent, but now anyone with eyes could see that Vincent wouldn't marry me. I walked over and took a look. The whole table, only Clara was winning. Vincent was very skilled at these games. I could tell he was deliberately letting Clara win. After a long while, Clara noticed me. She looked at me in astonishment, covering her mouth as she exclaimed, "Wow, how have you changed so much. I remember you used to." Trailing off, she clicked her tongue hesitantly, then waved her hand and stood up, offering me her seat. "All right, you take over. I'm tired." Then she picked up her phone and tapped on it a few times. I was close enough to see the name on the screen. It was Adrian, but almost all the messages were sent by her alone with no replies from the other side from start to finish. I sat down. Vincent's expression turned colder, and when he drew his cards again, he seemed somewhat agitated. They were playing big, and no one went easy on me. In no time, ID lost over 100,000. Clara stood nearby and spoke up with exaggerated concern. What's wrong with you, all making her lose so much? Where would she even get the money to pay for this? Someone pushed their cards forward dismissively. This person is Vincent's best buddy named Robert. He raised his eyes indifferently. What's there to fear? Vincent got her back. Wasn't he wrong? That's how it's always been. Clara raised an eyebrow. Oh, is that so? Vincent gave a hum of acknowledgement and took out his phone ready to transfer the money. But I spoke up first. No need, I'll handle it myself. Vincent looked at me, his eyes darkening slightly. Don't be difficult. I smiled slightly. It's alright, I can't keep relying on you forever. Over these years, because of Vincent, I've actually learned quite a few money-making skills. I've saved up some money, even opened a separate bank account where I deposit a fixed amount each month, preparing to repay Vincent someday. Though, of course, he knows nothing about any of this. I transferred the money to them. Vincent won the most. He stared at the screen for a long while before finally snorting and clicking accept. Well then, Elizabeth, you've grown quite capable. A while later, I went to the restroom. As I stepped out, I happened to witness Vincent and Clara arguing in the hallway. You said Adrian would be here too, didn't you? Why hasn't he arrived yet? He got delayed. What are you still clinging to your obsession with my brother? You've chased after him for so long. Has he ever paid you any attention? So, what I don't mind, but why are you keeping that girl named May by your side? Vincent stared at her jealous. No, I just can't stand women like her freeloading at someone else's place like a parasite over all these years. She must be cost you quite a bit, hasn't he? She. Vincent raised his hand and rubbed his nose. I'm just doing this to spite you. If you'd agree to give up on my brother and get back with me, I'd cut ties with Elizabeth immediately and never speak to her again. The corridor lights were dim as I stood in the corner, my heart turning completely cold in an instant. I didn't listen any further. I walked in the opposite direction, calming myself for a while before turning back. Pushing open the door, I found the private room already empty. I stepped outside only to realize it was pouring rain. Robert just went to throw up, and hasn't he left yet? He came out, saw me, and paused. You're still here. Oh, Vincent just want to see Clara home. The rain's too heavy now, and this place is quite remote, though we're not going the same way. How about you wait a bit longer? I'll call Vincent and ask him to turn back and pick you up. I shook my head. Forget it. Hearing this, Robert sighed, but didn't he press further, taking his companion's hand as they got into the car. I deeply regretted not driving here myself earlier. I took out my phone ready to try hailing a ride, but no one accepted the order. I searched and found a bus stop not far away. I made up my mind and stepped out into the rain. However, I had barely taken 2 steps when an umbrella was held over my head. Immediately after, I heard a somewhat deep voice, just as the rumors outside suggested, cold and aloof. Elizabeth, that night the rain poured relentlessly. It was Adrian who took me home. On the way, he received a phone call. It was Vincent calling. I was close enough to clearly hear the voice on the other end. Bro, we're all leaving now. Don't bother coming after you finish your work. Adrian raised an eyebrow, but didn't he mention he'd already been to the club? You said you had something urgent to discuss, then ran off at the last minute. So, what is this about? Sigh. Actually, it's Clara, who wants to see you. You know how she is. I couldn't say no to her. Adrian pulled his lips into an expressionless smirk. What, you'd give her anything she wants, even selling out your own brother? Vincent's tone remained as shamelessly defiant as ever. Of course, you know I've liked her since we were kids. For her, I'd do anything, abandon anything. Besides, who told you to stay single all this time? At this point, his tone paused briefly as he muttered a curse. Shit, I forgot about Elizabeth. Gotta go, bro. Adrian glanced at me. He said it must have been hard for Vincent to actually remember me. Adrian hung up the phone without saying a word. I silently averted my gaze and looked out the window. The phone was still in my bag. In the past, I would have immediately checked to see if Vincent had called me. But this time, perhaps because I was too exhausted, I did nothing. The phone never rang either. Only then did I remember I had set it to silent during the afternoon meeting and forgotten to turn the sound back on. The journey was silent until we finally reached the neighborhood gate. I breathed a sigh of relief. The rain was still falling outside as he picked up the umbrella beside him and handed it to me. I said thank you and reached out to take it, but when it was in my hand, he didn't let go. I gave Adrian a puzzled look, not quite understanding what he meant. Adrian, his gaze rested on me. After what felt like an eternity, he finally let go. Then he spoke very calmly, addressing me. If you're sad, you can cry. After a pause, he added, if you need any help, you can come to me. I won't tell anyone. My heartbeat skipped a beat. Only then did I realize my hands had been trembling ever since I heard that phone call. Yes, that line of Vincent's can abandon anything. Wasn't he talking about me? I clasped my hands at my sides, looked into Adrian's eyes, and suddenly smiled. In these 7 years, I've actually seen him only a handful of times. Yet every single time we meet, why must it be so humiliating at this moment for no reason at all? I suddenly felt like giving up completely. I deliberately changed how I addressed him. Adrian, what if I said, I want to date you? Adrian frowned and gave me a cold glance. That's not happening, he replied before heading home. I tidied up for a while before finally taking my phone out of my bag. In just this short while, Vincent had actually called me dozens of times, all unanswered. Besides the calls, he also sent numerous messages. I left in such a hurry earlier that I forgot you were still there. I'll arrange for someone to pick you up. Why aren't you answering your phone? You're not in trouble, are you? Reply to me immediately. Are you mad? Forget it, I'm coming over myself. The last message was sent 3 minutes ago. I thought for a moment and was about to call him back. Just as I was going to tell him not to worry, the words typing appeared on the screen. The next instant his message came through. Clara, suddenly, ISNT feeling, well, I need to stay with her. Maybe I should have the driver pick you up instead. I stared at this message for a long while before typing out my reply. No need, I'm already home. Vincent instantly responded with a 17-second voice message. Finally replied, you scared me to death. Thought something had happened to you. Glad you're okay. I'm busy right now, so when to chat further. I sighed, alright. It suddenly occurred to me that over the years, I'd actually heard many stories about Vincent and Clara. He went to great lengths to pursue her. He fought for her, got jealous over her, and did quite a few ridiculous things. When they were 18, something happened in Clara's family, and Vincent begged his father at home for half a month, even going on a hunger strike. Only then did Vincent's father relent, paying a heavy price to help Clara's family. Not long after they got together, everyone said Vincent was utterly hopelessly in love with Clara. During the first 2 years I appeared by Vincent's side, some people said Vincent had gone completely mad just to spite Clara. He was willing to take on a troublesome person like me. However, the Zhou family agreed, without hesitation. After all, it was merely funding my education. Such a trivial sum wasn't even enough to cover a few of their banquets. After that day, Vincent never contacted me again. But I knew he had been with Clara all along. He took her everywhere, skiing one day, watching the sunset the next. His closest friends tagged along too. Robert posted their photos together on social media. In the photo, Vincent's gaze always lingers on Clara. Someone commented below, TSK, young Master Vincent and Clara make a much better match. Right? Did someone really think they could climb onto a high branch and turn into a phoenix? Must be feeling pretty foolish now. I heard plenty of that kind of talk when I first came to Vincent's house. But later Vincent got angry about it several times and they didn't dare say it anymore. However, it's quite obvious that this time Vincent had no intention of making an issue of it, because he replied with a comment underneath. Of course you've got good taste. Clara and I were clearly made for each other. But strangely enough, seeing those words didn't make me feel particularly sad. I even thought to myself, well, forget it then. Stop liking Vincent. Let them be the perfect match they were meant to be. The next second, I liked this social media post, then left a comment underneath. Next time you can just say it outright. This someone is Elizabeth playing charades. Is so boring, but coincidentally, I also think they're a great match. It disappeared from my feed less than 2 minutes after I posted it. Vincent sent me 2 messages. It's no big deal, you've heard worse before, no need to stew over it. Be good, I'll take you shopping in a couple of days. TSK, yeah, it's not like this is the first time I've been looked down upon anyway. I come from a bad background, I'm poor, so it's fine if people say a few harsh words. I tossed my phone aside. I went to take a shower. When I came out I saw he'd sent several more messages in a row. Not replying to me, fine. But don't forget what you promised me. I stared at it for a while before sending a reply. Okay, before long, news of my fallout with Vincent had spread everywhere, because that day they happened to be gathering together. After I replied to Vincent's message, he stared at the screen for a long while before finally losing his temper and smashing his phone on the spot. Damn it, I didn't even say anything about her. Always taking it out on me, as if I owe her something. As luck would have it, I was having dinner with friends when I stepped out to take a call, and happened to see Robert chatting with someone in the hallway. This Elizabeth, what an ungrateful wretch. Vincent treated her so well, what's the harm in criticizing her a little? Besides, when it comes down to it, she ought to kowtow twice to Sister Clara. If it weren't for Sister Clara, Vincent wouldn't have taken her in. Robert clicked his tongue. Alright, that's not entirely fair. The number of students Vincent's family sponsors every year is countless, and I don't see you talking about others like that. She's special, raised by Vincent's side, treasured like the apple of his eye. How can those others compare to her? She has done quite a lot for Vincent over the years too. Whenever he called wasn't she always at his beck and call. Not to mention that incident 2 years ago when Vincent nearly got into a car accident, she took the hit for him and ended up bedridden for 3 months. Sigh, that's true, but now that Sister Clara's back doesn't her presence just become an eyesore. I stood in the corner waiting until they entered the private room before making my way over. Actually, if they hadn't brought it up, I would have almost forgotten about this remarkable achievement of mine. That day marked the first time Clara had called Vincent in 5 years. She told him she had dreamed of Adrian. She asked if he could secretly take a photo of Adrian and send it to her. Vincent froze upon hearing those words. He didn't even notice the approaching car. I went to push him aside but failed to dodge myself and got hit instead. Fortunately, nothing serious came of it. But even so, I still went through with the surgery. I was hospitalized for 3 months. Yet in everyone's eyes, this was simply what I ought to have done. When Vincent's mother came to visit me, she even made a point of saying so. It's commendable that you care so much for Vincent. He has always been carefree by nature, and we never expected him to achieve much. If he continues treating you this well in the future, I wouldn't object to you becoming my daughter-in-law. Because of this incident, my reputation as a child bride spread far and wide. Vincent never once stepped forward to clarify the situation. Everyone assumed his silence meant consent. Even I thought so. But now if I still thought that way, it would be ungrateful of me. Of course, I have no time to bother with all this idle gossip outside. I still have something important to do. That means pursuing Adrian. I know I definitely can't catch up to him. It's merely putting on a show for Vincent's benefit. When the time comes, even if he doesn't get his wish. I've done my best, so don't blame me. Having no experience in this area, I had no choice but to consult a friend. Catherine was my college classmate with abundant dating experience. As she put it, she was exactly the right person to turn to for such matters. I asked her, "How do you please a man?" She clicked her tongue in amazement. "Vincent," she said, "with the way he dotes on you, why would you need to please him?" During university, Vincent often visited me at school. With his striking looks and wealth, he was naturally the kind of person who drew attention. Over time, everyone knew he treated me well, so well it was almost excessive. I casually remarked, "I just wanted to learn a little." That night, Catherine held nothing back in teaching me. From that day onward, I began pursuing Adrian. Every day after work, I would wait for him outside the Joe Corporation building, bringing him flowers and love letters. Reading those words now makes me cringe so much I can't bear to look at them again. Adrian remained consistently indifferent. Yet, he never humiliated me. Over the years, there have actually been several intersections between us. During my sophomore year, Vincent took me on a trip out of town. I caught a fever after getting drenched in the rain, but he flew abroad overnight. Upon hearing Clara was in trouble, in the end it was Adrian who took care of me. When a client harassed me and splashed coffee on me, it was he who came to my rescue. Every single time it happened during my most humiliating and vulnerable moments. I photographed my entire process of pursuing Adrian and sent the pictures to Vincent. As a result, he actually blocked me. I didn't pay it much mind, thinking I'd chase after him for another 10 days or so, then settle accounts with him all at once. That way it couldn't be considered ungrateful, right? But that very night, while out shopping with Catherine, I ran into Vincent and Clara. They bought quite a few things. Vincent's playboy attitude completely vanished in Clara's presence. His hands were completely full. Everything was women's clothing and handbags. When he saw me, his steps faltered. Clara also smiled slightly. "Ah, it's you. What brings you here? Want to buy something? Should I recommend something for you? By the way, things here are quite expensive. Did you bring enough money? Or did you know Vincent was here and came to swipe his card? Here, take it." As she spoke, she extended her hand, revealing Vincent's card in her palm. Catherine had a fiery temper, and by now she could sense something was amiss. She let out a cold laugh. "What do you mean by this? What, just because you're rich, you think you're superior?" She stared at Vincent and said, "Elizabeth even came to ask me how to please you. How could you let another woman speak to her like that?" Little did Catherine know that Clara was his true love. I grabbed Catherine and shielded her behind me. "It's all right, I'll handle this." When I looked up again, I saw Vincent gazing at me, his eyes filled with surprise and emotion. He said, "Actually, my anger has already subsided. If you want to reconcile with me, just say it directly. There's no need to flatter me." But Clara's words earlier didn't carry any hidden meaning. "Vincent," I spoke up, interrupting him. "I'll pay you back all the money you spent on me." "Really?" I continued. "I'm very grateful to you, and I want to keep bothering you in the future. Once I've done what you asked me to do, I'll leave." Vincent stared at me, momentarily stunned. The items in his hands fell to the ground. That's not what I meant." Ignoring him, I took Catherine's hand and walked away. Exiting the mall, Catherine was seething with anger. "You should stop liking Vincent. There's definitely something going on between him and that woman just now. I used to think he was a decent man." I couldn't help but laugh. "Yeah, I don't like him anymore." Only then did Catherine's anger subside a little. I said, "Don't be mad. Once this busy period is over, I'll treat you to a big meal." I was supposed to accompany her shopping today, but this incident ended up ruining the mood. She snorted and said, "Fine then." Vincent took me out of his blacklist. He sent me many messages. "I never expected you to repay me. I helped you sincerely, without seeking anything in return. Don't take Clara's words to heart. That's just how she is. I only blocked you because I was too angry at the time. What have you been up to lately? Can't we just go back to how things were before, okay?" I pretended not to see them and didn't reply to those messages. Instead, I sent over all the photos I'd recently saved, the cookies I made for Adrian, the envelope of the love letter, and also 2 screenshots of our chat history. Nothing important. But I was very proactive, so proactive that it bordered on enthusiasm. And Adrian replies to every single message I send. Just very briefly after sending all the pictures, there was a long silence on the other end. Then I received a voice message from Vincent. His tone was icy, with a hint of barely suppressed fury. "That's really kind of you, going to such lengths for my sake." I replied with humility. "It's my duty." There was no further response from the other end. That evening, I searched online for locations and then messaged Catherine to invite her to dinner. She suggested inviting a few more friends to have a proper get-together. I agreed. After dinner, we all went to KTV together. Midway through the fun, I stepped out and unexpectedly heard my own name. "I've made up my mind, let's get back together. I probably won't ever have a chance with him in this lifetime. As for that Elizabeth, just send her away. She's monopolized you for 7 years, and the thought of it makes me sick. She said it herself today. She's going to leave you." That voice belonged to Clara. I looked over and saw Clara buried in the man's embrace. Vincent stared at Clara, somewhat at a loss. Before the words had even left her lips, Clara stood on tiptoe and kissed him. I quickly averted my gaze and ran in the opposite direction. Now it's settled. I don't have to chase after Adrian anymore. Of course, the whole thing was utterly ridiculous to begin with, but I never expected to see Adrian at this moment. Clearly, he had witnessed the scene just now. He walked over and handed me a tissue. How pathetic. I'd already made up my mind and even said harsh words, yet when the moment came, knowing they were truly going to be together, I still couldn't hold back my tears. This time I didn't stand on ceremony and took the tissue to wipe my face. Thank you, Adrian. But you've been right to keep refusing me honestly. I'm not much of a catch and certainly not good enough for you. Let us just pretend none of this ever happened. I won't bother you anymore. Adrian froze for a moment then stared intently into my eyes. He said no. I didn't understand him. His tone grew serious, his voice lowering. What I mean is I've never thought you weren't good enough for me. I refuse you because your pursuit isn't sincere. Did Mubai put you up to this? He may have done you a favor, but that doesn't mean you have to obey his every command, understand. There are countless ways to repay a debt of gratitude. Elizabeth, you've chosen the stupidest way possible. After that day, I threw myself back into work with all my heart and soul. Whenever I encountered something I didn't understand, Adrian would always give me prompt answers if I asked him. In this regard, he truly was an excellent teacher. Under his guidance, I gradually improved myself. Vincent also reconciled with Clara. He even specifically had someone inform me that the favor he had asked of me was no longer valid. But not long after, just about half a month later, I heard they had broken up. It was Vincent who proposed it. To be honest, I find it hard to believe. Vincent adored Clara so deeply. He had done so much for her. Now that she has had a change of heart, how could he possibly be the one to suggest breaking up? That day, after half a month, I received another message from Vincent. Are you free these 2 days? There is something I'd like to discuss with you. How about that Western restaurant you used to love? It's been a long time since I last saw you. I thought for a moment before replying to him. Been busy lately. After work, Adrian happened to be nearby, and it came to pick me up for dinner. Perhaps it was because of that night's heart-to-heart talk. During this period, our relationship progressed by leaps and bounds. After dinner, he answered a phone call while I waited for him downstairs. Suddenly, someone appeared out of nowhere, slapped me across the face, and hysterically demanded answers. It's you. How is it you again? When did you get so close to Adrian? Clara's eyes were bloodshot, and her hands trembled violently. One after another, they all fall for you. Everyone loves you. Why is that? Vincent used to adore me. Whatever I said, he'd do it. But now, even though we're together, he keeps thinking about you, wondering what you're up to. How could he treat me like this? Besides, you're just a country bumpkin. If it weren't for us, you'd probably still be out there picking corn. My face throbbed with a dull ache. He doesn't like me. You've got it wrong. This is between you and him. You should go talk to him. How much he cares about you, you should know better than anyone. Clara sneered. Oh, then it seems his sincere feelings will go to waste. At that moment, Adrian came downstairs. He glanced at my face, then looked coldly at Clara. Clara was clearly losing control. I suddenly thought of the girl who had argued with Vincent in the cornfield 7 years ago. So vivid and radiant. Call Vincent, I said. Adrian gave me a surprised look upon hearing this. In the end, she took out her phone and called Vincent. Elizabeth got slapped. What the hell? Who, where, why are you with Elizabeth? Adrian's voice was calm. Clara hit her. Come pick her up. There was a long silence from that side. Before long, Vincent arrived. He looked at me, then at Adrian, hesitating as if wanting to say something. You too. I was about to speak when Adrian interjected in a low voice. You're the one who got yourself into this romantic mess. Clean it up yourself. What does dragging others into it accomplish? Vincent frowned, somewhat indignant. My romantic mess? You're hardly any better yourself. How did Elizabeth end up with you? Weren't you never interested in women? I took a deep breath. You'd better take her back first. Vincent was interrupted and gave me a look as if he wanted to say something, but stopped himself. In the end, he said nothing at all. He left with Clara. Back home, I received a message from Vincent. Why were you with my brother? You too. I replied, it's nothing. Then the screen kept showing typing continuously. After a while, he called me directly. I've thought about it for a long time and actually wanted to tell you all these years my feelings for Clara seem to have just been an obsession. I interrupted him. Check your messages. I just transferred some money to you. His voice faltered, then I continued speaking. Every penny you've spent on me over the years, I've kept track of it all. I'll pay you back gradually. I'll always remember your kindness to me. But from now on, our relationship will only be that of benefactor and beneficiary. As for the rest, your feelings, your life, I won't involve myself in them anymore. Vincent took a deep breath. I didn't mean to cut ties with you, but I do. Adrian was right. I had taken the wrong path before using the wrong methods. That's why it hurt both others and myself. What if I said, I like you, want to pursue you, and be with you? I froze, then came a long silence. I asked him, does love that comes after realizing it still count as love? Without waiting for his answer, I hung up directly. For a long time after that, I intermittently received many gifts from Vincent, just like when he had begged me to pursue Adrian before. But this time my heart remained completely unmoved. I sold the apartment Vincent had given me. The car was also traded in at a discounted price. Combined with the savings from these past 2 years, I had a lawyer draft an installment repayment agreement. Then, it was delivered to Vincent. He called me. Does it have to be this way? I replied, yes. He sneered, his tone heavy. Because of my brother, you want to be with him? He seemed somewhat vexed as he spoke, lighting a cigarette and opening his mouth in a tone bordering on sarcasm. How simple that is. You're about to become my sister-in-law. Why should you care about money matters? I sighed. Vincent, do you remember the first thing you ever said to me? He said he would fund my education, provide me with food and clothing, and ensure I had more money than I could spend in a lifetime. Then let me love him. He thought for a long while before tentatively speaking. The first line was asking your name. I laughed. To be honest, it stung a little. After all these years, it turns out only I had carved those words into my bones, never daring to forget. I repeated that sentence. Then I said I've done what you asked me to do, but now I'm ready to give it all back to you. I don't want your so-called endless wealth either. I should be allowed to stop loving you now, right? As for the future, what I do, who I'm with, none of that has anything to do with you anymore. After that I ran into Vincent a few more times. Every time, he would look at me with an obscure gaze. He had grown more composed, yet he never pursued any romantic relationships. Vincent's mother sought me out privately and sighed. I've always liked you. When I said I wanted you to join the Vincent family back then I meant it sincerely. Now that things have turned out this way between you and Vincent, it's just fate playing its tricks. As for that Clara, her ambitions are too vast. She wants this, and that I never thought much of her from the start. It's just as well to cut ties. Vincent's mother told me that Clara had been depressed at home for a long time and had gone to see Vincent several times. But each time ended in discord. Adrian and I keep in touch occasionally. He has a good sense of propriety in dealing with people and never makes others feel uncomfortable. Every time we meet, he knows exactly when to stop. That day he took me to see an art exhibition I had been longing to visit. When we came out, it happened to be raining outside. We stood together under the corridor. He suddenly spoke. I remember the first time I saw you, you were so timid, hiding behind Vincent, clutching his sleeve tightly, as if it were a lifeline. I smiled. Yes, back then, he truly was my savior. His brows furrowed slightly. Elizabeth, if you're willing, I looked up at him, cutting him off. By the way, I've applied for a transfer. I'm leaving the day after tomorrow. Adrian's expression darkened. The day after tomorrow? His voice was low, betraying no emotion. Yes, I nodded. There's a very important project at headquarters in Paris. It requires long-term overseas assignment, a rare opportunity. One applied and got accepted. He was silent for a long time before finally speaking, his question blunt. To avoid me, I laughed bitterly. No, I just wanted to try to start a new journey. I wanted to see how far I could go relying only on myself. On the day I left, Adrian was away on a business trip. He sent me a message right on time. Have a safe trip. See you when you get back. I replied to him, okay. I dragged my suitcase downstairs only to see an unexpected person at the gate of the neighborhood. It was Vincent. We hadn't seen each other for quite some time. He walked over and took the suitcase from my hand. Let us go, I'll take you. How did you? He paused slightly in his steps. Do you want to ask me how I knew you were leaving, or do you want to ask me why I came? I sighed. Both. No one would call me a country bumpkin anymore. How could I not know about your affairs? All along he had actually been very concerned about me. He had added contact information for many people around me. When I first joined the company, he went out of his way to invite my supervisor for a meal together. I truly couldn't refute what he said. As for why, it's been 7 years, we've been inseparable, knowing everything about each other. Now that you're leaving, can't I at least see you off one last time? Alright, I said. He looked at me, reaching out as if to tousle my hair like he used to. I took a step back. I dodged his hand, fell through empty air, and in the end, he only sighed. Let us go from now on, no more looking back.